Down in 4, and the clock is running, I guess.
Steve Sanders comes in to play a tackle. Benji Olham goes to a wide receiver spot. Lee Allison becomes the fullback for the Blue Devils as Coach Medley has cleared some of his first-line players out of there.
21-0. Lebanon going to play Shelbyville next week. In Shelbyville, we run a trap up the middle to Lee Allison, and Lee, the senior, fights his way to the 31-yard line. A couple of yards short. They say his knee touched on the 32. Give him 2, and it'll be 3rd down and about 2.5 to go.
Barry Loftus checks out. Benji Beatty comes in at the tight end position. Landon Dunaway now out of the game. And let's see who we've got at that other tackle position for the Blue Devils. That's Jason Gray.
Triplet Collins signals with a 3rd down and takes it and run a trap to Allison. 30-25, knocked down, 1st down. They run that trap again. We have run that play all night long, and it has worked pretty much all night long. We've probably got 150 yards rushing out of that play. Is our fullback now as Allison carries it to the 25.
Checking in for the Blue Devils at the guard positions, Rob Pack and Michael Brindley. The tight end becomes Willie Westmoreland.
A lot of subs in. Triplett stays at quarterback. Slot right, I set. Long count sweep. Outside running, trying to cut it in. They knock him down. Tommy, who's our tailback? He got knocked down and lost a couple back to the
Charles Moss.
27. That is Moss, our tailback. And he got knocked down on the 27 and lost 2. Moss, the sophomore.
And another receiver comes in. Barry Loftus comes in. And it looks like a completely fresh bunch.
And that football game, people, is over. It is over. The final score, Lebanon 21, Cookeville 0. So Lebanon will go to the playoffs and head for Shelbyville next week on their home field as they've knocked off Cookeville 21-0. What do you got, Tommy? 2-2. What do you think?
2 minutes on the break. Lebanon wins 21-0. We'll be back in 2 minutes. On the campus of Tennessee Tech University, Tommy Bryant, Terry Stafford, Bruce Skeen. The Blue Devils defeat Cookeville tonight by a score of 21-0. Lebanon advances to the playoffs for the 6th consecutive year under the direction of head coach Mark Medley. A Mark Medley football team has never missed a trip to the playoffs. Terry Stafford, 21-0 the win. What about the numbers?
Thanks, Tommy. Lebanon's 5th shutout of the season as they defeat Cookeville tonight, 21-0. Lebanon is going to the playoffs. Recapping the scoring, Lebanon got on the board in the first quarter. Again, we don't know the time. They did not run the clock all night long. Somewhere in middle ways of the first quarter, Zach Dirksen, a 16-yard run, capping a 6-play, 43-yard drive. Greg Triplett with the extra point. Lebanon led 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. Midway through the second quarter, Zach Dirksen again, his 2nd touchdown of the night. This one a 2-yard run, capping a 4-play, 63-yard drive, set up by Lee Allison interception. The extra point was no good. Lebanon led at halftime 13-0. In the third quarter, Lebanon scored again, this time senior tailback Reggie Quarter, his first touchdown of the season, a 10-yard run, capping a 10-play, 61-yard drive. Lebanon decided to go for two. Greg Triplett hit Scott Ogle for the two-point conversion, and that is our final. Lebanon beats Cookeville 21-0. Statistically in the ball game, Cookeville 26 rushes on the ground, 77 net yards. Lebanon ran the ball 42 times, 229 yards. Through the air, Cookeville 2 of 8 for only 18 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Lebanon tonight 6 of 9 through the air, 80 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns. Total yardage in the game, Cookeville 95 total yards, Lebanon 309. First downs, Cookeville with 5, 4 on the ground, 1 through the air. Lebanon with 17 first downs on the game, 10 on the ground, 6 through the air, 1 by penalty. Turnovers, Cookeville with 2 turnovers, both of those interceptions. Lebanon turned the ball over 3 times tonight, 2 fumbles, 1 interception. Penalties, Cookeville 2 for 30, Lebanon 4 for 32. Individually in the ball game, Jim Smith, the Cookeville quarterback, ran the ball 14 times. He got minus 15 yards. Jim Salmon, 2 carries, 18 yards. Brandon Harcum, 7 carries, 66 yards. DeJuan Farrell, 3 carries, 8 yards. That's 26 carries, 77 yards for Cookeville. Through the air, Jim Smith was 2 of 8 tonight, 18 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 18 yards through the air, 77 on the ground, 95 total yards for Cookeville. For Lebanon individually, Marlowe C., 3 carries, 22 yards. Montoya Crutchfield, 14 carries, 62 yards. Zach Dirksen, his best night of the season, 9 carries, 90 yards. Joe Gardner, 1 carry for 3 yards. Reggie Corder, 9 carries, 34. Zach Manier, 2 carries, 13. Bentley, 1 for 0. Allison, 2 for 7. And Moss, 1 for -2. Lebanon racking up 229 yards on the ground on 42 carries, 80 more through the air, 309 total yards for Lebanon, 95 for Cookeville. Lebanon completely dominates this game, 21-0. We're going to Shelbyville next week in the playoffs.
We'll be back in 2 minutes. You're listening to Blue Devil Football on WFMQ. Lebanon said earlier, this is our 5th consecutive trip to the playoffs under Blue Devil head coach Mark Medley. 21-0, Lebanon knocks off Cookeville. Cookeville looking for a bowl game to go to, but Lebanon into the promised land once again. The TSSAA Class AAA playoffs. We will play at Shelbyville next week. 7:30 is the kickoff. The winner of that football game will advance to play on the road at the winner of the Baylor-Ray County game. So some pretty good football teams in this bracket as Lebanon tries once again to make it to Nashville and the Clinic Bowl December the 14th. Want to say hi to Randy Venata. We know he's listening back in Lebanon. Hope you're feeling better, Randy. 21-0. And want to say hi to Benny Jennings, who we think's listening to us back in Lebanon. 21-0, Lebanon the victory. Terry, a complete win. That defense just stifled Cookeville from the very beginning.
Tommy, I know we keep talking about the Lebanon defense. Their 5th shutout of the season. Only 95 total yards for Cookeville. Lebanon racked up 309. They won the game statistically and also on the board, 21-0.
Bruce, closing comments. 5 years under Coach Medley, 5 years in the playoffs. We're certainly getting it done.
I think we've won 8 3 times and 9 twice. Is that right, in 5 years? Yeah, that's just during the regular year. I think we've gone 9-1 twice and 8-2 3 times. Pretty good record there. And only 1 playoff win, though, Tommy, out of 4 trips so far. This will be the 5th. We're 1-3 in playoffs. So we beat Franklin County 2 years ago and lost to Ray County. Well, I guess we're 1-4 then, because we lost to Ray County and then we lost to Tullahoma and Lincoln County, and somebody else beat us too. So we're 1-4 in playoffs. We need a win next week.
A win would be great to send us into that second round, the round of 16. For Terry Stafford and Bruce Skeen, I'm Tommy Bryan, Donnie Denny back at WFMQ. Thanks for your usual great job. 21-0, Cookeville knocks Lebanon knocks Cookeville out of the playoffs. We're going 21-0 with the victory. That's it.